Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Ya Rabbi lakal hamdu kama yambaghi li jalali wajhika wa azimi sultanik. Alhamdulillah. Allahumma rabbana lakal hamdu bima khalaqtana wa razaqtana wa hadaytana wa farajta anna. Allahumma lakal hamdu bil iman wa lakal hamdu bil islam wa lakal hamdu bil Quran. Amma ba'd, fa'a'uzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidna ilma. Allahumma fakkihna fid din. Allahumma inna nas'aluka ilman nafi'an wa amalan mutaqabbalan wa rizqan tayyiba. Allahumma thabbitna indal mauti bila ilaha illallah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Lesson number 19, we are inshallah going to start with the izan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is going to be a continuation of Jumla Ismiya. Jumla Ismiya, normal structure, we already learned, alhamdulillah. So today we are going to see the abnormal structure of Jumla Ismiya, and then what happened, what are the implications when sentence is abnormal structure. So let's start. So abnormal structure, what is the normal structure? First of all, normal structure in Jumla Ismiya. First of all, Jumla Ismiya, how we are going to recognize that this is Jumla Ismiya. Jumla Ismiya always going to start with an ism. So when we see a sentence starting with the ism, then we need to look for three things. What are the three components of Jumla Ismiya? Then we need to look for mubtada, we need to look for khabar, and we need to look for mutalliq bil khabar, right? And mubtada, how we are going to recognize that this is our mubtada? Mubtada is always going to be rafa in status, right? And it is going to be proper. So proper, the very first thing, rafa and proper is our mubtada. Then we find another rafa thing, and that rafa and common, that is going to be our khabar. And then our jar, majroor, and zarf fragment, if there is, then it is going to be labeled as mutalliq bil khabar. And we know that mubtada is must in Jumla Ismiya. But khabar and mutalliq bil khabar, they can switch. So sometimes we can find mubtada and khabar, and that is complete sentence. And sometimes we can find mubtada and mutalliq bil khabar, and that is a complete sentence. So this is the normal order. Now we are going to look today that this is not the case every time. In Quran Pak, we see that sometimes the order is switched. So the sentence is not following the same order, like we need to see mubtada first, and then khabar second, and then mutalliq bil khabar. But there is going to be a shift in the order. And when this shift happen, there are some implications. We need to know about it, that what is the implication, why that happened, and what's going on. That's what we are going to learn. So now it is possible for this order to be shifted for rhetorical purposes. What is rhetorical purposes? Meaning for balagha purpose, right? So balagha means that something is going on in the sentence, we might not find in the translation, but since we know that there is something missing or something, the order is switched, then we know that there is some balagha point. Not every time, but sometimes it is going to be there. So shifting the order can produce several different meanings. The meaning produced by the shift in order is determined by the type of shift and the context. So in terms of labeling, when something appears before it is expected to, it is labeled as muqaddam, which means brought forward. And when something appears after it is expected to, it is labeled as mu'akhkhar, which means delayed. So if there is something that is muqaddam in the sentence, there will be necessarily be something mu'akhkhar, right? So sometimes, now there we can see these structure over here. There are two common abnormal patterns. So we said that our mubtada should be the very first one, right? So mubtada should be the first one always. But sometimes what's gonna happen, we are going to have mutalliq bil khabar first and then mubtada. And khabar is missing, there is no khabar. Or the second order could be that we have mubtada, okay? But what is the order we should have after mubtada? We need a khabar right after it. But instead of having khabar, we are going to have mutalliq bil khabar first, and then khabar is coming. So this is not the regular order, right? This is abnormal order. So these two abnormal order we can find in the Quran Pak. And when that happen, then basically what's going on, the first pattern in which the mutalliq bil khabar comes before mubtada. So mutalliq bil khabar is coming before mubtada, generally produces a meaning of exclusivity, ikhtisas or hasr. What is all these means? That we need to bring the translation of only in the sentence. Why? Because the order is switched. The order is not normal, rather it is abnormal sentence structure. Look at the example. We see in Quran Pak seeing that ayah, wa ilallahi, and towards Allah. So what is waw? We know waw is ataf. What is ila? Ila is harfu jar, ba ta kaf lam waw min fi an ala hatta ila, the last one, right? So ila mean towards. Wa ilallahi, and towards Allah. So we have jar majroor fragment over here. What is jar majroor fragment called or labeled in Jumla Ismiya? MBK, right? So this is our MBK. And then we have al-masir, right? So al-masir is what? It has al, it is proper, and it is rafa. So this is our mubtada. Can I say this is my khabar? So I have MBK and khabar and my sentence is complete? No, right? Because mubtada is must. Mubtada is must. So that's why this is my mubtada. So this is my mubtada. And now what is the order should be al-masir should come first, right? And then I can have ilallah. So al-masiru ilallahi. But the order is switched over here. We have MBK first and then mubtada. So this mubtada is mu'akhkhar, delayed, right? And this MBK is muqaddam. It brought forward. It is before where it was expected, right? So now when that happened, in the translation, we can see and to Allah, alone. Where this alone is coming from? Because of this abnormal sentence structure. To Allah alone is the final place of return, right? So we are going to return towards no one but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So only towards him we are going to return. We are not going to return anywhere else but towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then in the second example, we have wa'indahu. What is inda? Wow, again, ataf. Inda is special mudaf. So this is zarf because it is referring to kind of place that near Allah or with him. So inda is our zarf, and then who is attached pronoun. So this is creating a zarf fragment, and zarf fragment in Jumla Ismiya called MBK. So again, this is MBK, and MBK is muqaddam, right? It's supposed to be after mubtada, but it is before mubtada, so this is muqaddam. And then mafatihul ghaibi. So mafatihu mean keys, and mafatihul ghaibi is my mubtada. How it is my mubtada? Because this is, even though it's not one word, right? But I can say mafatihu is rafa, right? And it is proper. How it is, and this is light, right? So this is my mudaf, and al-ghaibi is my mudaf ilayhi. So this is idafa fragment, right? So this idafa fragment is coming as a mubtada, and this mubtada is muakhar, and that's why I'm gonna translate as and with him, referring to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, exclusively are the keys to the unseen. So the keys of unseen belongs to only and only and only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what it means, right? Because that's why in the who brought before, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that no one knows the unseen except him, right? He gave some knowledge to prophets or whoever he wished to, but actual all the keys of unseen belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, moving on. Now, another example, it says, Lahu mulkus samawati wal ard. Right? So now lahu, what is lahu? Ba, ta, kaf, lam, this lam over here with attached pronoun lahu, for him. And then, so this is my MBK muqaddam. And then I have mulkus samawati wal ard, right? So kingdom of heavens and earth. So mulku, so basically mulku samawati wal ard, if we look at the macro label, the sentence, so I'm just gonna say that, okay, lahu muqaddam, this is MBK muqaddam, and this is and then mulku samawati wal ard is my mubtada muakhar, right? And then mulku, I can further break it down. Mulku, I can see it is light, and as-samawati, muslimati, right? Muslimat, muslimatun, muslimatin, muslimatin, right? And then it has al over here, so as-samawati. So this is nasab or jar, but in this case, we're gonna say it is jar because it is mudaf ilayhi. And wow came, and then wal ardi. And even this wow is telling us, this is ataf, and then wal ardi, the kasra over here is telling us that samawati is jar, right? And we remember that connector wow, and that tells us that what is the status before whatever is before it. So now lahu mulku samawati wal ard, for him, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone is the ownership of the heaven and the earth, right? So again, we can see that MBK is muqaddam, and this is creating exclusivity. This is, that's why we're gonna say alone or only, these kinds of words we are going to see in the translation when we translate these kind of sentence structure. Now, that is, there are always exception whatever we are learning, right? So what is exception over here? Not every time we're gonna jump to the conclusion that, okay, there is balagha, there is exclusivity, there is ikhtisas and hasar in it. Rather, we need to stop and see the context. Context can help us, and there are some other reasons that can help us that there might be some exception. So what is the exception? Know that if mubtada is common, what do we say about mubtada? That mubtada always need to be rafa and proper. That is the condition for mubtada. But sometimes we are going to see mubtada common, and when that happens, when mubtada is common, then it is supposed to be delayed. It's supposed to be muakhar. It cannot come first then if it is common. Okay, so it know that if mubtada is common, it must be made muakhar. When the mubtada is common, there is no balagha implication in the mutalik bil khabar being brought forward, and this is because it is the only way to structure the sentence. Now look at the example. When I say in Quran Pak, we will see fi qulubihim maradun. Now what is fi? Harfu jar. Qulubi is some majroor. Then qulubi is light. So, and attached pronoun ism plus attached pronoun always idafa fragment. So this is jar majroor plus idafa fragment. Now what I'm going to label it as MBK, right? So this is MBK muqaddam. Now when I say MBK muqaddam, right away I'm not gonna jump to the conclusion. I need to look at mubtada. Is my mubtada proper or common? Now maradun, is maradun proper or common? This is common. How do I know? This tanween is telling me, right? Maradun. So this tanween is telling that mubtada is yes muakhar, but it is nakira, it is common, right? When that happens, then I'm not gonna jump to the exclusivity. This is just simple normal sentence structure, which should be translated that there is a sickness, there is a sickness in their hearts. There is, we are bringing it to just make it a better translation. The literal translation is in their heart is a sickness. In their heart is a sickness. But to translate in a better way, we say there is a sickness in their hearts. Okay. Next one. Anna lahum ajran hasana. So anna, inna, anna ka anna, layta, lakinna, la'alla, right? So these are our harfu nasab. And harfu nasab, anna, what do we need after it? We need an ism which should be nasab in status. So can I take lahum as a ism of anna? No. Why not? Because lahum is jar majroor. Lahum, this lam is harf, right? Anna does not need a harf. Anna need what? Ism. So lahum came in between anna and ism of anna. So where is ism of anna? Anna ajran. So this is nasab. So that means this is my ism of anna. Then ajran hasanan. Ajran hasanan is telling me something What kind of fragment it is? This is Mosuf Sifa fragment, right? So now Anna Ajran Hasana. And now one thing we need to remember over here, that we see that Anna is in the beginning, right? But where is the rest of the part of Anna, which is Ismu Inna? After. So that's why we are going to consider this Anna will make Mubtada, right? Inna Anna ka Anna, and there is some always create Mubtada. So now this Mubtada, we are going to call it as Mu'akhar, not Muqaddam. What is Muqaddam? Lahum is Muqaddam over here. Okay. So one more time, let me say it, that even though this Anna is in the beginning, but the rest of the part of Inna, which is Anna, which is the ism of Anna, is delayed. So that's why we are going to take this Anna as a delayed Mubtada. So this Mubtada is Mu'akhar, but we can see that this is Nakira. Ajran Hasana is Nakira, right? So this Mubtada is Nakira over here then. And that's why no exclusivity. We're gonna say that they have a beautiful compensation. Lahum, for them, Ajran Hasana, beautiful like compensation or reward. Okay, then now the second pattern in which Mubtada remains in its place and Khabar and Mutalik bil Khabar switch places. So now Mubtada is in its place. This is the second sentence structure we are going to talk about now. So Mubtada is here, Wallahu, right? And then we have Ala kulli shay'in qadir. Now, Wallahu is my Mubtada, right? In its place, it's not delayed. And then I have Ala, which is harfu jar. Kulli is a majroor. And then Kulli is mudaf, always mudaf, right? And shay'in is mudaf ilayhi. So this is jar majroor and idafa fragment going on. And now this is MBK, right? What I was expecting in normal order, we need a Mubtada, we need Khabar, and then we need MBK. But over here, we can see that Khabar is delayed over here, right? Khabar is Muakhar and MBK is Muqaddam. So exclusivity is here, right? So we are going to say Wallahu, and Allah is ala kulli shay'in, on over everything, qadir, all capable or completely capable, right? So these kind of words we are going to bring to show the exclusivity over here. Okay, note that there is difference between abnormal and unusual or rare. So the structure introduced in this section defy the standard, but are commonly used and commonly found in the Quran and other literature. Okay. Now another example, which is I think related to our previous one. No, it is related to this one. Okay. Wa'indahu. So this is a special mudaf, right? So this is zarf fragment, MBK. MBK is muqaddam over here. And ummul kitabi, this mubtada, is muakhar over here. So now, so again, the exclusivity over here, because mubtada muakhar, and we can see this, even though it is muakhar, but it is, this mubtada is common or proper? Proper, right? Ummul kitabi. So this the mudaf ilayhi, is making this proper. So this is proper. That's why we see and with only him is the essence of the book, like the source of the book belongs to or with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's what it is saying, right? Okay, that belongs to this part over here, right? Okay, now moving on. Let's do some drill together. Okay, so the very first one, now it says underline the mubtada once, khabar twice, and mutalik bil khabar 3 times. And if the component is muqaddam or muakhar, we need to mention that. Okay, the very first one, wa fis samai rizqukum. So wow is a tough, right? Who is able to do this sentence? Anyone?
I'll try it, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your name, sister?
Humaira Hashmi.
Okay, Humaira.
So wa is harfu ataf. Fis samai is jar majroor. And wa fis samai is MK, muqaddam. And rizqukum is mubtada qabar. And in the
Mubtada what?
Mubtada
muakhar. Muakhar, yes. Okay.
And translation will be, inshallah, and in the skies are there risk?
There or kum?
Your risk.
Your risk. So your risk is in the sky.
In the skies.
Okay, now is there any exclusivity over here or not?
Yes, there is an exclusivity.
How?
Rizqukum is
it proper?
Yes, it's proper.
How?
Because of the kum.
Very good, alhamdulillah. So basically rizqukum is idafa fragment, right?
Yes.
So this kum is mudaf ilayhi.
And mudaf ilayhi, yeah.
Exactly.
Rizqu is mudaf and kum is mudaf ilayhi.
Very good. So this is creating exclusivity over here, right? So mubtada, muakhar, and this is marifa, right? So that's why how we're gonna say that your risk is
only in the skies.
Only in the sky. Because who is in the sky?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So risk is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even the rain, where does rain comes from?
From the sky.
From the sky, right? And like the rain or water is the life for everything. Without water, we cannot sustain, right? So these two implications we can put. So the risk is coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, risk is coming from the water, from the rain. So that's why your risk belongs to only in the sky. It is coming only from the sky.
Skies.
Okay, second one. Beautiful. I'm so happy to see your progress.
Alhamdulillah. 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 Jazakallah khairan fi dunya wal akhirah.
Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Okay, so number 2, wahum fi ghaflatin mu'ridun. Wow, again, ataf over here, right? What is whom? Independent pronoun. Independent pronoun is always mubtada, right? Someone wanna do it? Is anyone wanna try this sentence?
Can I try it?
Go ahead.
Y is a harful ataf. Hum is an independent pronoun. Fi is harful jar. Ghaflatin is the ism majrur, so it's going to be MBK. Mu'riduna is
what is left? We have mubtada, we have MBK. What is left? Khabar. So mu'riduna is khabar because is mu'riduna rafa?
Yes, because mu'riduna is in the masculine.
Muslimuna. So this is rafa, plural. So that means that is our mu'riduna is our khabar. And now you tell me, do we have any exclusivity here?
No.
No. What is the normal order? Normal order is that we have mubtada, then we have khabar. So khabar should be over here right after mubtada.
Yeah.
Right, but this MBK is muqaddam, which should be over here. So the places are switched, right?
Yeah.
So MBK has taken the place of khabar. So there is switch in the order. When switch in the order, so what does that mean? Exclusivity, ikhtisas, hasr. So that means over here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting their ghafla, why they are turning away. Wahum, and they are fi ghaflatin, in their ghafla, in their ignorance, mu'ridun, turning away. Right? So this is the sentence. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically fi ghaflatin is highlighting that part. That's why he brought before. That they are turning away, and what is the big reason? That they are ghafil, that they are ignorant, right? So exclusivity is over here. Okay, number 3. Fihi ayatun bayyinatun. So fihi is what?
Fi is a harful jar and he is a majrur.
Very good. So this is our MBK. And now next one is ayatun bayyinatun.
Ayatun is mubtada. And bayyinatun is the khabar.
Okay, do you see ayatun bayyinatun, any connection between them?
Mawsuf sifa.
Yes. So if they are mawsuf sifa, then they are one bucket. They cannot be mubtada and khabar. They are either mubtada or they are either khabar. They are together. They are changed together, right?
Yeah.
So now, what do you? We have MBK. What do we need next? Do we need mubtada or do we need khabar?
Mubtada.
Mubtada. If we do not have mubtada, we cannot have our jumla ismiya. Right? We can live without khabar. If there is no khabar in jumla ismiya, that is totally fine. But we cannot live without jumla ismiya. Mubtada. We need mubtada must. Right? So that's why this ayatum bayyinatun is mubtada. Now, this mubtada is mokhar, and is that marifa or nakira? Is that proper or common?
Common.
Common. It is common. So that's why, are we going to say exclusivity over here? No, because mubtada is common, so this is normal structure then, right? So we're gonna say in it, there are clear sign. We can bring there are. Whenever this happen, like we have jar majroor and mubtada common, then mostly the translation we need to say there are clear signs in it. There are clear signs in it. Ayat bayyinat, clear signs. Okay, number 4. Wa inna Allaha bikum la raufur rahim.
Wow is a harfu ataf. Inna is a harfu nasab. And
the word Allah or lafzul jalala is
the
ismu inna. So together what they are doing? They are our mubtada. Okay, and now what is next? Bikum.
B harfu jar, kum is majrur.
Okay, and then this is our MBK, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So la raufun and rahimun, I think it's a mawsuf sifa.
Very good. And what is this la doing here? Is that harfu jar? This, lam of emphasis. Okay, wow. This is lam of emphasis. We learned that, right? Last class, I think we were talking about it. So this is lam for emphasis. So now whenever you see inna and then there is lam attached to, maybe sometimes it is attached to khabar and sometimes it is attached to MBK or whatever. So then this lam is basically what? Lam of
emphasis.
Yeah. So now, do we have any exclusivity here? So we have mubtada.
Yes.
And then we have MBK muqaddam, right? And then we have our khabar over here. So again, the khabar should be right after mubtada. It should be over here. So order is switched. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Inna Allah, and indeed Allah, bikum. Now this bikum, definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to believers that with you all. La Raufur Rahim. Rauf is like very kind. And Rahim is again very merciful, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He is very kind and merciful with you all. And this all is definitely the believers. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting over here. Kum. Okay, next one. وَعَلَى الْوَارِثِ مِثْلُ ذَلِكَ.
Wow, harfu ataf. Ala harfu jar. Al-warithi is a majrur.
So together what they are making?
متعلق بالخبر.
Very good. So this is our MBK. Okay, and then?
مثل is مبتدا.
Just mislu ذلك. Mislu is special mudaf, right? And then ذلك mudaf ilayhi. And together they are making what? Mubtada, you said.
Mubtada, okay.
Now, isn't this mubtada muakhar? Yes, it is, right?
Yes.
Is that marifa or nakira? Is that proper or common?
Proper.
This is proper, right? So now there should be exclusivity, right? Because MBK is before. And this ayah is about breastfeeding, when the mothers are breastfeeding. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given some rulings that the father of the child should be taking care of all his needs. And in case that father died, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that alal warisi, on the inheritance of his wealth, they should follow the same ruling, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting the responsibility of waris over here. So this is again a kind of exclusivity over here. Then next one, it says fahum fihi sawaun. Fahum, so they are. What is whom over here?
Attached pronoun.
Okay. And this fa is doing what? What kind of fa is it? This is basically ataf, right? So this fa is ataf over here. And then whom, always going to be our mubtada. The independent pronoun, they are always mubtada. So fahum, they are. Fihi is mbk, and sawaun is our khabar. So this is again the order is switched. Mubtada is in its place, but khabar and mbk, their order is switched, right? So the translation we can do, so they are completely equal in it. This ayah is talking about how the people have wealth and all that resources and risk, but when it comes to give to their slaves, they are very stingy. They do not want to give their slaves good money. Why? So they do not become equal to them, right? That's what we do mostly. Sometimes we see, we have this attitude, like if we have our poor relatives, we want them to stay poor. We do not want to make them stand on their feet, because what's gonna happen, then they are going to be kind of equal with us, right? So this is very unfortunate, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is highlighting over here that this is what their attitude is towards their slaves. Okay, then last sentence, minhumul mu'minuna wa aktharuhumul fasiqun. So minhum, our jar majroor, mbk muqaddam, right? And al mu'minuna is mubtada. Okay, so this is mubtada muakhar and this is marifa, right? So exclusivity is there. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, and this min is called min tabi'idiyya, meaning like it is going to give the meaning of some. So min is sometimes we like among them or from them we translate, but over here it is going to be translated as some of them, because the next sentence is giving better understanding when we translate as some. So some of them are believers, right? Wa and aksaru. What is aksaru mean? Most of them. And what kind of sentence structure is aksaru? Aksaru is a smooth of deal. If I ever mention, it is like akbaru. And what is a smooth of deal? Smooth of deal is basically, in English we can understand, we say good, better, and best. So comparative and superlative degree, right, of something. So on this pattern, like on the pattern of akbaru, we can make smooth of tail from verbs. So akbaru, we say afdalu, right? Afdal, meaning like the one who is preferred more, afdalu. And even what else we can say? Over here, aksaru. So most of them. So basically this is give the meanings of comparative or superlative. So over here, some of them are believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, wa aksaruhumul fasiqun. And most of them are fasik. So again, aksaruhum is our mubtada and al-fasikun is our khabar. So over here, the sentence structure is kind of normal, mubtada and then khabar. Even though khabar should be common, but we can see that khabar is proper over here, and that happens too. In many places in Quran Pak, we will see that is happening. Now, basically, what I want to show over here in this sentence is like we were talking about harfu ataf, connector, right? And when there is harfu ataf, we need to see that this is harfu ataf, and after that, we call the next is a ma'tufun ala, like the one that is connected to. So this aksaruhum is related to or connected to what? Can I say that it is related to al-mu'minuna? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
No, it's minhum.
Oh,
Connected
no.
with minhum.
Because if I say this al-mu'minuna is related to aksaru, then look what the translation gonna meant. Some of them are believers, and then we are saying that this is connected to mu'minuna, and this mu'minuna are al-fasikun as well.
No.
That
No,
doesn't
it
make
doesn't
sense.
make sense. Yeah.
So now when that happened, we need to look very carefully. Basically, this wa aksaruhumul fasikun, the whole sentence. This is a complete sentence. We have mubtada and khabar, right? So the whole sentence is motufun ala to this sentence, minhumul mu'minun. That some of them are believers, but most of them are fasik. Now it is making sense, right? So this is what we should be looking when we have motufun ala, that what is motufun ala connected to, because it's not going to be very obvious sometimes. Sometimes we have to think like deeply and look at the context, look at the translation, and that can help us out. Okay, moving on. Now, okay, we need to go quick. So now we see that sometimes we see in the translation, he has or there is. He has or there is. Now there are two structures in Arabic where abnormal sentence structure is used. These structures are used in ordinary speech and not in rhetorical purposes. They are he has or there is. So these two sentence structure, when we are creating, then something is going to be muqaddam and mubtada is going to be muakhar, right? And because, and that is going to be kind of considered as normal sentence structure, because we need to do that to create this in the translation, there is or he has. So the mutalliq bil khabar muqaddam followed by mubtada muakhar structure is used for these two kind of sentence structures. So now look at the examples. There are two templates that are commonly used to express possession. Like we say, lahu or this jar majroor fragment, or when we are saying he has or they have, right? As stated previously, both of these templates are made up of mutalliq bil khabar muqaddam and mubtada muakhar. The translation over the example over here is laha shirbun. Laha, literally we're gonna say for her. Laha, lam is harfu jar and ha is attached pronoun, right? So for her is the literal translation, and shirbun over here is the right of drink. This is talking about Naqatullahi, the she camel of Hazrat Saleh alayhi salam. So she has a right to drink. So this laha, this MBK muqaddam is brought, and this mubtada is muakhar, and that is giving us the sentence structure. We are going to say she has a right to drink, and we say that this mubtada is common over here. So that is basically we already discussed over here, right? So when mubtada is common, it is supposed to be delayed, and then there is no exclusivity over there, right? So we can understand both ways. But in the next sentence, it says لِلذَّكَرِ مِثْلُ حَظِّ الْأُنْثَيَيْنِ. So لِلذَّكَرِ mean man or male, right? So for male, or the male has mithlu mean like, haz mean like share, and untha is ladies, and unsayain is like muslimaini, unsayaini. So this is dual. So the male has the equivalent of the share of two females. And this is talking about inheritance, right? So the male get two share as the women get one, right? Like two females share would be equivalent to one male's inheritance. So now over here we see that Liz Zakari is our MBK muqaddam, and this mubtada, even though this is muakhar and this is marifa, right? But still we are not going to say exclusivity over here, because this is the sentence structure. When it is showing the possession, the male has, right? So then this is how we are going to construct a sentence. So there is no exclusivity over here. Okay, now let's see some examples. Lahum ajruhum wa nuruhum. So lahum, for them, or they have, right? So they have what? Ajruhum, their ajr, wa nuruhum, and their nur. And nur referring to their iman or whatever, right? So lahum ajruhum wa nuruhum. And again, we can see that it's showing possession, they have, right? And then ajruhum, nuruhum, even though they are proper, they are connected, right? They are mubtada. This is mubtada muakhar and this is marifa, but still we're gonna say they have their ajr and nur, right? So there's no exclusivity we're gonna say over here. Then we say walil kafirina adhabun alim. For kafirin, or kafirin have, disbelievers have, what they have? Adhabun alimun. So this is mubtada muakhar, but this is common, right? So no exclusivity anyway over here. Lana a'maluna walakum a'malukum. For us are our deeds, and for you are your deeds, right? So lana MBK, right? And this is a muqaddam, and amaluna is mubtada muakhar, and this is proper amaluna, right? but still we're gonna say for us are our deeds and for you are your deeds. Like whatever I do, I'm going to be responsible for that, right? And whatever you do, you are going to be responsible. So this is what it is saying. Then we have, we already saw this example, fi qulubihim maradun, right? So we see that MBK is muqaddam over here, and maradun is mubtada muakhar over here, right? And the translation, we're gonna say there is. So this is normal sentence structure. Wa bainahuma hijabun, and between them. So huma is a dual, right? Between them is hijabun. So now this is mubtada, muakhar, and common. So this is normal structure. We're gonna say there is a barrier between two of them. Okay, then another thing, and we already discussed in the last class. So quickly we're gonna go that what happened. Having a sentence as a khabar. So sometimes we have mubtada and then we need a khabar, right? And this khabar is going to be another jumla ismiya. Complete jumla ismiya is going to be our khabar. So over here we say haza huwal haqqu. So haza is our mubtada, right? Because we don't have after ismul ishara, we don't have al, right? So this is our mubtada. And then huwa al-haqqu. Huwa again mubtada, right? And al-haqqu is khabar. And this is complete jumla ismiya. And this complete jumla ismiya is basically the khabar of this haza, this mubtada. And that again, that comes for that brings exclusivity. So haza, this is, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, this is, yes, this is the truth. So this is double the emphasis over here. The tone should be change over here, right? So over here, this is emphasis. Then another example, innaka, indeed you are. So innaka harfu nasab and ism. So this is mubtada. And then it says anta, you are. So anta is always independent pronoun, right? So this is our mubtada. And then allamul uyub is our khabar. And now we can see that innaka is my mubtada, and then I have complete jumla ismiya coming as a khabar. So certainly you are the knower of unseen. We are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are saying about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? Innaka anta allamul uyub. So over here we can see that and there is a lot of emphasis. First of all, inna itself create emphasis, and then ka over here, and then anta again over here, right? So no doubt should be over there. Definitely, 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 Allah is the knower of unseen. Okay, then we can see some more examples. It says wa innahum. So innahum, we know that inna plus harfun nasab. So this is mubtada, right? And then whom again, we can see that independent pronoun always come as a mubtada. So this is my mubtada, and as-sufaha is my khabar. So basically this innahum is my one mubtada, and humus-sufaha, the whole thing is my khabar, right? So innahum, again emphasis. Indeed they are. Yes, they are the sufaha. Because these munafiqeen, they were calling believers as sufaha when they are invited to Islam, and when they are Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited them, or the believers told them to be believer. Then what was their response of these kuffar and munafiq? That do you want us to be believers like these Sufaha, they believed like these all slaves and poor people, and they are crazy, they are spending whatever wealth they have crazy in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are going to be very poor very soon. They don't have any, not gonna have any like Izza or anything soon, right? So that was their mentality, that Izza comes from authority or Izza comes from the wealth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that indeed, no doubt about it, they are the Sufaha, right? So they are the foolish one. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is defending believers over here. Then second one, inna haza lahu al qasasul haq. So inna again, harfu nasab, then haza is its victim. So together it is mubtada. And then la, we can see that this is lam of emphasis. And then huwa again mubtada, right? And qasasul haqqu, this is mawsuf sifa, and that is our khabar, right? And we can see how many emphases we have. We have inna, and then this lam, right? And then again huwa. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that indeed this is no doubt, definitely this is the true narration. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about one time in the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that is Surat Ali Imran or Surat Bakra, I think Ali Imran. So when these Yahudi Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited them that if you are the truthful, then let's come and come to a place, like they are invited to a place, and you are going to curse yourself. So you bring your daughters, your family with you, and I'm gonna bring my daughter and my family with me, and we are going to have, it is called Mubazara. So we are going to say that Lana of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is not on truth. So something like that is the kissa over here. But these Yahudi, they didn't came to that place. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with his family to that appointed time, but they didn't show up. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is the true narration. Then we have wa ulaika hum wuqudun nar. Wa ulaika, we know that ulaika is always mubtada, right? And then hum, another mubtada, and wuqudun nar is khabar, and ulaika is my mubtada, and the whole jumla ismiya is the khabar of this mubtada, right? Again emphasis. And those are whom, they are the fuel of the hellfire. Na'uz So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about disbelievers over here. Then on a side note, I just want to mention that whenever we are talking about emphasis over here. So look at the example. When I say Alhamdulillah, so there is no emphasis over here, right? So I'm saying all praise and gratitude belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when there is no emphasis, then mostly the audience is neutral. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to a neutral audience. But then in the second example, we can see that it says, Inna alhamdulillah, right? In khutbah, we hear that. So inna is one emphasis, right? Inna alhamdulillah. So when we have one emphasis, that means the context can help us that our doubtful audience is being talked. So doubtful audience, we are going to see one emphasis. And then sometimes there are two or more emphases, and that is for the refutation. Refutation is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like in a with lot of emphasis is refusing what is said before, right? So in this example, inna Allaha la raufur rahim. So over here we see how many emphasis, inna Allaha, inna, and then this lam over here, another emphasis. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that he is very kind to the believers, right? So maybe before it was said something, maybe disbelievers were saying something against believers, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is defending and saying that he is very kind and merciful to believers. Okay, then subhanallah, we are over time. So inshallah, maybe we can finish whatever left in the next class. So what is the homework basically? Let's see. So homework, we have these 4 sentences. So we are going to label them and let me know whatever we have learned so far. So whatever you can explain in the best way with all the labeling and whatever you have observed. And that's all we have. That's more. Okay, you know what? Let's try. We have these sentences over here as well. Okay, you know what? Let me finish it. I'm gonna just take 5 more minutes because otherwise next class gonna be the other stuff, right? So having multiple khabar. I think we discussed that before, so it's not a very complicated concept. Know that it is possible to have 2 or more khabar back to back with no harfu ataf between them. And this occurs most commonly with the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, we say, Wallahu wasi'un alim. And Allah is wasi'un, all encompassing, alim, all knowing, right? So the word Allah, the lafzul jalala is mubtada over here, and wasi'un, I'm gonna say my khabar number 1, and alim should be my khabar number 2. Now I think we learned that when we were doing Mawsuf Sifa, when the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come in succession, then we do not make them Sifa Mawsuf, right? Because Wasi'un, it cannot describe Alimun, right? These are 2 different entities. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala being vast and generous in his resources is something else, and Alim, he is all knowing, is something else. So they are not describing each other. So that's why it's better that we can take them as a separate khabar. So the word Allah, the lafzul jalala is mubtada, and wasiun is khabar number 1, and alimun is khabar number 2. And then the second example was Rabbuna, and our Rabb. So this is mubtada. And then Ar-Rahmanu, Al-Musta'anu. Again, these 2 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Ar-Rahmanu is khabar number 1, and Al-Musta'anu is khabar number 2 over here. So that's all about this multiple khabar. And then you are going to do this grammatical analysis. So only 3 sentences over here. And then maybe we can do Surat Fatiha next class together. So don't worry about it. But if you want to go through it, we can go through this because all the analysis and explanation is there. And then this is the homework. Again, very little homework, just 4. And no, we have a few over here. 6 over here. So basically these 10 sentences is your homework, inshallah. So with that, we can end our session over here. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quranil Hakim. Wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bi ayati wa dhikril hakim. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
السلام عليكم.
جزاك الله خير. جزاك الله خيرا كثير.